Good morning, everyone. Ado here, part of the social care management team in Crosscare in Dublin, part of the social care workers registration board in Corru, um, also on the consultative forum for former users of mother and baby homes and such institutions, and that was kind of topical over the last few weeks. What I want to address with you this morning, um, I had a couple of conversations during the week with some social care workers who work specifically in the disability sector. Now I know that's a very wide and broad sector. Um, this is a very generalised conversation, but we've everything from profoundly disabled people living in congregated or supported settings to to people with brain injury, um, to people living with Downs, etc. It's a huge and varied field. But the couple of social care workers that I was talking to, they work in houses in the community, um, with and supporting people who are with minimum support are able to live by themselves. Um, and I'm fully aware of the obligations uh, on us as providers of social care services, and how we need to be mindful of um, the risk that we put ourselves and other people in. But the conversation I want to have is, along with the risk, and I've spoken about this before in other areas, but along with the risk, uh, um, or not along with the risk, but how do we define risk, and how do we risk assess? Do we risk assess positively or risk assess negatively? Is your organisation a very pro-social type model, or is it a very medicalised model? Is it a top-down, a very sort of autocratic, or is it a kind of a bottom up or enmeshed, or like the organisation that I work for, a servant leadership type model? And the reason I'm asking that is how much say do the people that you work with, i.e., your residents or your service users, how much say do they have in how they manage their lives during the current COVID pandemic? Um, are is the organisation, i.e., you guys, the management, and all the rest of it, are they preventing people from leaving the house or the buildings that they live in, to get outside and to be part of society? And from what I'm hearing from some people is, in a lot of cases, no. Now, I understand it where if you risk assess it and risk assess it positively, and you have people who are at high risk, that you don't make that risk any higher. But, are there people who can come out into society, who can come out and wear a mask, and who can, exercise and go for a walk? And, I live out in Bray, right beside the sea, and there's lots of services out here for people living with disabilities. And this morning I'm sitting down the prom down the beach. It's a mile long, and it's beautiful, and there's lots of people walking around, and I'm sitting here going, there's no reason why nearly everyone living in disability services in Bray can't be down the beach today, with support from their key workers. Um, they could come down here. They can easily, safely distance. They can get their exercise. They can come out into society, and depending on how able they are, they could also go and walk up through the town and do little bits and pieces needed. So the question I have for social care workers today: are you working in a service that hasn't included the service users in the decision making process as to whether they can go in or out of the house? Are they be contained? Are they being contained because of fearful type risk assessments? That's what I want us to look at today. Is, are you putting your fear on them? Cheers.